I saw someone post a very lengthy list of very positive things that the George Floyd riots has brought about. Thus far, I had remained silent on this very touchy subject, watching and listening to everybody else have their say. Black Lives Matter versus All Lives Matter. I have listened to arguments for both sides. A big question arises: why on earth are there two sides to this obvious injustice? Then it would seem to me that for whatever reason, said, implied, or withheld, that there are those among us who have in some way or the other sympathized with the aggressor slash murderer slash perpetrator in this instance, or feel that they have more in common with him than the man that sadly lost his life. This reminds me of a mental test. A video was shown of a snake killing a rat, and the question was asked: do you feel sorry for the rat or happy that the snake would have a meal? And most people were sorry for the rat. The illustrator went on to explain that the people tended to identify with the rat because they see the rat as having more in common with them than the snake being a cold-blooded reptile, etc. The case of George Floyd is very similar, and yes, sadly, there are those who in their hearts feel more akin to the murderer than to the murdered. When will mankind realize that to be human is a blessing, that there are no subhuman races or species, and no elite master race? We are all equal in God's eyes, but I suppose you have to believe in God to accept that. Then again, you have to believe in God to have morality, because without God, there is no moral law, no sense of right and wrong. Now, my opinion, and I'm entitled to it, these riots are way past due. Even with its violence, looting, and burning, it's long overdue. If you can't see that, then obviously you have never fought just to be treated as human. Blacks kill blacks and whites kill whites, and vice versa. That's not even the issue. But for too long, the oppressor has suffocated this race under the proverbial knee. Blacks have borne the burden of oppression for too long. Bring oppression and injustice and corruption down, and bring it down now. And it's a fine time that some people bring up Martin Luther King Jr. and speak of peaceful protest. He too was murdered.